So we're looking at the Unit 2, 125 East College. This is where the floor is sagging because it looks like a stairway many years ago was removed, which had supports underneath, which were also removed, and the joists looks like they were never, or currently are not bearing upon anything going down to the floor. They're just sort of knocked up against each other, that there's nothing bearing underneath these. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
You know, if you went down to, say, in a restaurant, when you look at these joists here, and you go down to, say, in a restaurant, is there going to be anything on the floor going down to the basement bearing on the, supporting those?
We hope there should be, yeah.
Okay, Brian, that is not the answer. All right, so basically we have a situation that not only is the floor sagging, obviously, but there is a real structural question that has existed for a while and has probably gotten worse, but could be a real risk. What are these? Are these?
It's all old knob tube.
Old knob tube wiring. Holy crap! Wow. Okay, yeah, because I'm going to step on here. Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. So if you look at
the very ends, make sure you're just not stepping on the end.
okay, yeah, so it doesn't fall right there. Yeah, that's pretty obvious because here you have these 12 bys terminate there, and then they probably terminate somewhere up in that direction.
So
where the stairway was.
Here, we got this first joist cut here and notch to go over the top of the joining beam here.
Where does that end?
And it goes underneath the floor another 2 feet under here to help support that. But I'll just kind of move.
So your theory is to cripple up these?
Yeah. So basically, we have every one of these floor joists. We have a new joist to sister up to it. Tom, you just want to pull this one out. So when it's in place here.
And what's it bearing on the east wall?
Basically be nothing other than fastening right here into our existing joist.
So all it's doing is it's gonna take well, this joist that it's fastening and where your right hand is, that joist doesn't continue on all the way.
This joist continues here. Yep,
But
so
neither one of them are continuous. In other words, this joist right here doesn't go anywhere. This one goes, it doesn't bear on the wall, correct?
correct.
What's it notched for? Was it bearing on one of those?
This is a notch just to give us our height of our existing floor over here. So these notches essentially are sitting on top of our old floor joists here, which and then we also bolt into
Is
each
it
joist.
Is it not? You have that cap, the what do you call that? The joist cap. Or what is that end piece called?
Yeah, this here.
Yeah.
Quite sure what that's called. Just get
But that's what that's resting on. And what is that resting on?
that we don't know. That's
Okay.
the existing one. I believe these are fastened. You know.
Yeah. I kind of.
Structure.
Well, what's interesting then, what I'm realizing now too, is that this entire length here, if you look at, I was thinking that these joists going east-west, at some point they were continuous from the east wall all the way to the west wall. And what it appears is that they are not continuous. Is you have, they're all cobbed in. You have all these joints here.
This is where the stairwell was.
Yeah. Are there continuous joists going east-west down here?
We're assuming we have a duplicate mirror image of this side on this side of the stairwell is what we're assuming
Okay.
at this point.
Do we know if anywhere we have continuous joists running from this wall, which is the west outside wall, this is a brick wall, do we have any joists running continuously to the east wall?
I'm guessing these are all doubled in.
Doubled in right here, but then if they are, they have to bear on something downstairs, which we're not sure about.
We should have some sort of support beam right underneath
Okay, well, we need to check that. All right, here's what we want to do. This is outside all of our areas of expertise and knowledge right now because we don't know where the things run continuously. We don't know where they start. Obviously, this situation where you have a doubled up piece of crap here is not sufficient, so we don't know whether that needs to come out. We don't know whether we have to go from Sana Restaurant down even to the basement below Sana, or perhaps we can find a ledge in the brick here, a pocket in the brick, and create a pocket and actually bring in a glue lamb. You know, we can definitely put glue lambs all the way across. I mean, I know that they make them that long, you know, we're an equivalent, right?
Yep.
So I think we need to decide, now this area is the area showing damage. The other side is showing no damage, unit 1. I don't know why. Maybe it's because all those joists are continuous all the way across.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is this area with how the stairwell was supported.
Right, right. This seems to be the biggest issue, but the problem of having things that don't continue, potentially don't continue all the way across, and these things here, these must be resting on some 2x4 structure that's against the wall down below.
I would assume so.
They would have to be, yeah, because they're not into the wall.
No.
So, to your point of resting that notch thing on there, in theory, that's probably okay, because it's resting on something that's going down through 2x material, but we have to verify that.
So basically what we're counting on is the existing floor structure to support our new
Right.
joist that we're gonna sister on there would be.
If that is good there, and if all the way on the west wall, it's the same thing. In other words, when you shove that all the way down, are these joists good? If they are, then yeah, you can probably sister them up to some degree.
Yeah.
But I think we also have to get rid of all this interior stuff. In other words, what you're saying you're gonna do here, I think has to be, if this is correct, this has to be done everywhere where you have this break.
Every one of these floor joists will have a new
Right,
joist sistered to it.
sister to it. Well,
That will give us
you hope.
a flat
Yeah.
floor here.
We need to get Kelly involved, all right? I mean, we have to. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I just don't know that I can agree with it and take the liability for that, okay? So let's get him involved, but I think we understand there's probably more than not likely some stud wall structure going down. And then the question is, what goes into the basement? Is that stud wall resting on this same kind of thing here that then goes down? And typically in a balloon frame it would be.
I guess
Yeah,
I'd
but
be
this has got brick.
most interested to see what's supporting this
Okay,
joist right here, this main beam
all right.
underneath.
Well, there's somebody just went into that restaurant a second ago. So why don't you guys measure the distance and see if you can get someone's attention? And let's see, I don't recall anything downstairs that was right under here. I think that's why this is sagging, because these aren't continuous and they just let it ride. All right?
Just as a further note here, is that this is what we're dealing with here.
Oh,
we
this
have
is the
our
wood insulation.
Our basic first sub floor. Then what we have is a layer of wood chips down, layer 1 by 1. Then our hardwood is mounted on top of the 1 by 1.
Wow.
So we're insulated underneath with this material, which is all these bags of stuff.
Jesus.
So you can imagine this whole floor was 100% covered with this wood.
Oh, because you take, all right, yeah, this is actually the original subfloor,
So
yeah.
if you look at our scraps here, they're all hardwood floors
God.
still mounted to the 1 by. So there was a 1 by going across
That's one by sleeper, yeah.
every spot here. And as you can see, the different floor heights over here. So we actually have kind of two floors.
It's a lot of weight. Brian, do you know whether this floor structure is replicated down at Unit 1?
I would assume this construction is the same method all the way.
Because it's
down.
flat, yeah, although it's not sagging, probably because of the stairway question. Okay.
And so I really probably think the stairway is the main culprit of anything.
Okay.
failing, and it could be due to
Nothing down
support
below.
beam possibly was removed here,
Yep,
which caused this joint of the floor joist to
yep.
snag in the middle.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. There's probably a frame going all the way down and then another frame below the other floor, and that's okay until they removed this and they never did what you're doing. Okay.
Which I think when they first patched in the open stairwell here, it probably should have been done like we're going to attempt to do it here.
Right, right.
Instead, they just scabbed it in.
Yep.
This is it, and tried to plug it.
Well, let's have, this is definitely an architectural thing, and it may, I hate to say it, but it may even be a code thing, because we're getting to the point where removing those interior walls were what we were allowed to do. And if we need to have Kelly come here, do some calculations, and go back to the city and say we want to modify this, obviously this is something that would never have been approved, with today's codes, so it's all for the good. But we need to do it carefully. So, all right.
Just watch your slip of the end there, dude.
Yeah, and what do you think? So here you have this. Do you think that this is Sana's roof then with a tin ceiling attached to it?
I'm guessing that this is an old lath and plaster ceiling. There's probably a drop ceiling below that, which
okay.
the ceiling tiles are applied.
Okay.
So there's probably an airspace in between.
Well, that's pretty good that this is, relatively contained, so that you can do work up here and not have to worry about stuff falling through at least.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do a little bit more video down here. I will get a hold of Kelly. I'll tell him it's important. If you guys can figure out if there's any structure down there, I doubt that there is, but that'll give us an idea of what we're faced. See, now here you can see some light down here. I just saw some light, didn't I? Did I see some light down there?
Might have been a chunk of glass,
Oh,
but reflecting too.
okay, all right.
It's done that to me a couple times.
Yeah, because I don't know how I would see light down there.
This is the area where an old air conditioner sat in the frame here, and quite a bit of floor damage here,
Okay,
which isn't the end of the world, with probably can just repiece in the hardwood with some of the scrap to repair this area here.
but one of the questions would be, Brian, if we're taking down all the interior walls